everybody, and welcome back to Virtual Sim League's Tier 1, round number 6 of the overall season. Round number 1 of our second regional championship, the Formula Euro Open. A nice championship to kick things off here. Tonight, we head to the home of British Motorsport for the British Grand Prix, a circuit that was first introduced back in 1950, the home of Formula 1, and I hope we are going to get some good action. My name is Jess Ball. Mike's filling in for Tier 2 tonight, so you just got me in Tier 1 comp tonight, but that's all good, that's all good. But we are here today to talk to you about what happened in the last round in Bahrain. Now, Andreas won at the title for the first regional championship, the Middle Eastern and Asia Pacific Trophy, so we get some regional points to add to his championship tally. So Andreas is currently leading the way on 120 points. Then we got Glock in second and Casper in third. So they've got some extra points to add to their tally as well. I wonder how it's going to fare for the other drivers that are here as well. So we only got 13 drivers on the grid today, but that doesn't mean we're not going to have some action. We are going to have some action currently. But anyway, without further ado, let's go. If I can find my scene. There we go. Let's crack on with the show. So it's 5.891 kilometers long, 3.661 miles. It has a race distance of 153.099 kilometers. And that record set by Max Verstappen in the race of 127.097, but it possibly would have changed by then. So let's take you for a lap around Silverstone. Now you're going to be heading towards Abbey first. Both corners taken flat out at 7th gear to minimise traction on the exit of Farm before heading towards Village of Turn 3. Hard braking zone which retests the drivers. Heading towards the loop, another braking zone. Really second and third gear on the exit there, along with a wide approach through there. Past entry and into the Wellington Straight, named after the RAF bombers, the Great RAF Silverstone during World War II. Heading into Brooklands. Hard braking zone at the end of the straight, which may lead to rear locking past Luffield, a slow speed right-hander, which is taken in 4th gear. And then heading into Woodcote, which is a flat right-hander, which shouldn't cause too many problems during the race. Heading towards the old turn 1 of Cops Corner, a lot of overtaking opportunities, and you can take this flat out, depending on the setup. Now heading to one of my favourite parts of the circuit, Maggots and Beckett's. This left-right complex is going to really test the drivers in terms of their positioning. Heading towards Chapel now, heading towards this straight, Hanger Straight, which leads to the opportunity for drivers to overtake and make gains throughout the field. Heading towards Stowe Corner. Hard braking zone, you can see the drivers be tested in terms of track limits on the exit of the corner, as well as any potential side-by-side battles. Past Rail and into Club Corner, the Grand Sandwich. A lot of people like to watch the Grand Prix in. Heading to the final corner, what's going to be for Twisted is a 125.464. Now, I'm going to turn my auxiliary down because it's very loud for me. So there we go. We've got more people saying some lap times. We've got Yarham, who's kind of sitting in P1 at the moment. Tech 31 Racing. He's going on his out lap, so who will be next? It might be someone in the Alpine, actually. Yeah, it is Leroy. So Leroy comes across the line in P3, 126.8. So I think 125.2 will potentially be the pole position. But we could see a lot faster than that. It does depend, obviously, on how they approach it as well. Matt's passing through Village now. What about Glock, who got so close to the championship last time out? But his main championship contender is not here tonight for the overall season. So he's got a lot to live up to. So Glock, with his lovely helmet, by the way, it does look very nice. Heading towards Stowe Corner. And we've seen quite a few people invalidate through there, which let's hope he doesn't do. Heading towards Valen Club. He's going to be taking it at around 3rd or 4th gear on exit. Final corner onto the Hamilton Straight. What's going to be a 125.4. Nick came across the line just now with a 129.919, a full second quicker than Leroy. Tech 31 Racing has unfortunately invalidated. Matter is heading towards past Chapel now. as he is going to be approaching Stowe very soon. Bearing in mind, Stowe, there could be a lot of side-by-side battles through here. This is where we saw, I think, a lot of punches go through there, and Matt has had a few problems there. So let's ride on board with Ewan. And this was the track where we saw Nigel Mansell won the British Grand Prix 4 times. And there was one Grand Prix where Mansell came out of the pits and broke the Silverstone lap record 11 times to chase down teammate Nelson Piquet, sailing the wrong way on the run down to Stowe, passing him out on the inside with minutes to spare, and then he ran out of fuel on the slowdown lap, and the crowd broke through the fence to mob him. So a very popular man, and Ewan slots himself into P4. More people on outlaps currently. We'll run through the rest of your championship then as well. It will let me get the standings actually, because the one I did a screenshot earlier was not very clear. So, Andreas gets an extra 15 points for winning the first regional championship. He's on 120 points. Glot is in second on 92. Casper in third on 63. Tony in fourth on 51. Cam in fifth on 50. Yarham in sixth on 36. Matta in seventh on 30 as well. Nick also has 30 points as well. Some good consistent results when he joined as a reserve. Ewan in ninth on 28. Kieran in 10th on 27. Gareth in 11th on 26. Joint with Enzo. 13th is Leroy on 25. Bibessier, who always seems to join late, as there's someone that's just gone into a spin actually. On 23, then we've got Waity on 22. Finley on 20. David on 12. Now, he has unfortunately got a race ban due to something that we will talk about in just a moment. We have got a bit of time in between quali and the race to talk about that. Twisted in 18th on 12. And we've got 91 in with 1 point. Pete in 20th on 1. And everybody else yet to score. So how does that look with the Constructors' Championship? So Mercedes currently leading with 143 points. Ferrari in second on 120. McLaren in third on 86, joint with Williams. Alpine in fifth on 51. Aston Martin in sixth on 40. AlphaTauri in seventh on 38. Red Bull in eighth on 35. Haas in ninth on 12. And last is Alfa Romeo on 9. I do believe reserves do score points for their team as well. So they may be high up the championship order because their reserve driver scores a lot of points for them as well. As Waits did not set a lap time, so he's coming into the pit lane. So, interesting fact about this Grand Prix. Built on the side of a World War II airfield. 2 years later in 1950, Silverstone was chosen as the venue for the first race. And this track is one of only 4 Grand Prix from the first year of the World Championship to remain a part of today's Formula 1 calendar. But the actual first race before that was 1947. And there was problems because there were sheep wandering onto the circuit and it caused problems apparently, which was quite weird. 1952 Grand Prix, there was an original pit lane between Abbey and Woodcote Corners and that was abandoned. And there was a new pit complex which was built between Woodcote and Copse. We don't use that today. That's used on the national circuit though. And then in 1975, a chicane was added to Woodcote Corner to slow down the cars going through this very high-speed corner. And then in 1987, the Woodcote Corner was no longer used, and a new right-left chicane was built on the farm straight. So those were some interesting facts about the history then, which I will tell you now. Luckily, we just had Casper join the lobby. He had a qualifying session to attend to elsewhere, but luckily he has done that, so he is all good. Pete has invalidated. What about Gareth as he heads towards the hangers straight? In towards the hard braking zone. Let's see what his middle sector is going to be. I only just missed his middle sector, unfortunately, so I didn't get a glimpse as to what it's going to be, but what can Gareth do as he goes up to the line? And it's going to be a 126.946, which puts him into P8. Next, I do believe we got some more people on outlaps. I believe it will be Shadow. No, it won't be Shadow. He is invalidated. Tech31 Racing. Typical. As soon as I go on board with someone's like, you know what? I'm going to go for an absolute spin and go for a spinneroonie. So he has to go into the pits because of that. So we're going to have most people on outlaps because of it as well. If you are liking the action, make sure you leave us a like and hit that subscribe button and hit that bell if you are new. Also, make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at VSL_F1. You can also follow me on Twitter as well. I'm at JessGames95. As we've got more people making sure that they want to get some good laps. And here goes Glock with a 125.3. So times are coming in thick and fast here today, as we are getting to the calm before the storm at the moment. I am going to be getting, because you know me, I like to get some stats about certain milestones for the British Grand Prix. And you know me. I know I keep saying you know me for quite a long time, but it'll be nice to see some stats on where people finished and stuff like that. So just let me know potentially what we could see and what you can predict could happen. So let's see who's going to be next across the line. We got, I think, two of the McLarens running side by side. I believe Casper's about to start a lap currently, as one of his teammates actually goes into the pits. Yes, he does. So he'll be next after that. It will be Tony. No, it won't be. It's Glock. So it might be one of the Aston Martins. Yes, it is one of the Aston Martins. So we've got Waity then heading towards the final few corners. Waity's got to admit that he could have scored, I think, better the last few weeks. But however, he is there to get some experience on this game. Up to the line he goes, and he goes sixth fastest with a 1:25.796. So times are improving. Nick has improved to a P4. I was riding on board with so many other drivers that I didn't spot him. Do apologise about that. 27.5 was the first sector from Casper. And there we go. Twisted goes fastest there with a 1:25.245. So I found my stats about grid slot stats. So I'm going to be reading that throughout the Grand Prix. Let's see who's in the chat today. Who wants to pop in and say hello? We don't bite, honestly, we don't bite, as Yaham goes into P1 with a 1:25.1. I did say that we could potentially get someone in into the 1:24s. Yaham is about a 10th away from doing so. Let's see if Casper can do it. He's only got time to set a few laps in because it is a long pit lane. It's around about a 30-second pit lane loss that they lose. And it's only P8 for him. Next is Waitsy heading towards the final few corners. Can this be an improvement? Oh, no, he's going to the pits. I don't know why it says, oh, they're on outlaps, but they're not. It's just very, very confusing. And welcome on board Vapor Shadow as well, that is joining the league. He's coasting in 12th right now, but I'm sure he's looking to improve on his lap. I believe... Has he backed off? Let me have a look at telemetry. No, he's doing fine, but he's invalidated as soon as I went on board with him. So, unfortunately, that is a typical commentator's curse from Miss Jess Games 95. But it happens. It happens. So, it is the calm before the storm at VSL. We never know who's going to get on pole. So far, it is Yaham, who is fastest. But it can all change at a drop of a hat, as we're starting to see lap times after lap times come through. It does get quicker. We do know in Silverstone, though, the times usually get the best in the middle part of the session. So if you set a lap time throughout the middle part of the session, then you probably look like it's going to be a lot better for you. So people probably potentially go into the pits unless I think this could potentially be his last lap because there's no way he's going to have time. Johan has retired in the pit, so he feels comfortable that he can get pole position. Now, that's a brave thought. Twisted does the same thing. But I still think, in my opinion, that we've got Glock. That could, I think, go even quicker, and some of the other guys are still yet to go as well. So watch out for these guys. As Vapor Shadow also retires in this session, Pete goes into the pit lane. Leroy is about to start his lap time as he heads past Farm into Village now, into Arena and the loop coming up. I like this loop section. You really get a good view from there about the amount of cars that potentially see that part of the track. And you can see there's a building called Brooklyn. There's actually like a text there, so if you haven't seen that, there you go, boom. And I did sat in Brooklands for a little bit. No, in Luffield for a little bit when I was at Silverstone in the beginning of July. I didn't sit there for the actual race. I sat at the Hamilton Straight for the actual race, but sitting at Brooklyn was really, really nice, actually. It was really beautiful. I would want to sit, maybe want to find somewhere different to sit for potentially the actual race. There's Leroy heading towards the Hangar Straight again then in 8th gear, running out of fuel, so this could be his final lap, so he could go into the pits for all we know. Calm before the storm. And Leroy's going to finish it. He is going to finish it. The checker flag is about to drop. He'll be the first person to cross the line. So what's going to be for him is going to be a 129.944. Puts him into P8. Next, we got the Mercedes. I do believe that is Glock. Nope, it's not Glock. Glock's heading towards the final. So it's Tony, who set no time at all. He's going to be starting at the back of the grid. Tech 31 Racing. He is going to be heading towards the final corner now. Doesn't look as comfortable compared to the others. But you never know, it could put him higher up on the grid. So he goes up to the line. What can he do? 126.5. So not the improvement that we would have liked to have seen for the Ferrari driver. Ewan is up next. Ewan is a driver where we've seen in the top three quite a few times in a VSL history. Is he looking to do the same here today? I believe he has won a race. As he goes up to the line, P5, pretty decent. Nick is up next. Can he improve on Ewan's time? Yes, he can. Slots him into P4. He does like P4 at the moment. Glock has invalidated, so it's just Gaff, I believe, to set a lap time, and he does have invalidated as well. And he's broken his front wing. So it is Johan who slots himself into pole position then by about a tenth of a second. So them pretty much retiring towards the end of the session, thinking that they're comfortable. It was proven right. For the majority of people, they didn't get their final runs in. So, for Johan, it's no time to get back out. That's why he came in. I think that was the same for Twisted as well. So we've got run through your running order for today's qualifying session for the race. So Johan will be starting on pole with Twisted alongside him on the front row. Glock and Nick will share the second row in 3rd and 4th. Enzo and Ewan will share the 3rd row in 5th and 6th. There's Matta and Waitsy in 10th and 8th. And then Leroy and Casper in 9th and 10th. On the 6th row, we got Tech 31 Racing in 11th and Gareth in 12th. And then we got Shadow and Speed Knighton in 13th and 14th. And Tony has one row to himself at the end. So, we are going to go for a short break whilst I go and get a drink before the race, because I do need one since I'm on my own. So I will be back in just a few moments' time, and then we'll go through a few bits before we start the race. I will see you in just a few moments' time. guys, and welcome back to Virtual Sim League's Tier 1, round number 6, as we head to Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. And we got a few things to talk about before we head to the main action. Don't forget, David has got a race ban due to intentional contact in Bahrain, driving an opponent to direct retirement or attempting to end their race, which is something that we do not encourage at Virtual Sim Leagues. So that is why David is disqualified from last week's race, well, race from 2 weeks ago, 5 penalty points and a race ban for Silverstone. So, our second regional calendar looks like this. So round number 6, we headed to Britain this week, and then the following week we headed to Monza. Now Monza is going to be interesting. It's a special event with the F2 cars. Now, I haven't done much commentating on the F2 car, so that's going to be interesting. And then we head after that to Baku, and we know how Baku goes at Virtual Sim Leagues. Usually it doesn't go very well. So am I looking forward to that one? Not really. And then we head to the newly revamped Spain. The final chicane has gone, so that'll be good to see how that fares at VSL. And then we got Portugal to round up that championship for round number 10. So at the end of every regional competition, the top 3 will receive bonus championship points. First place gets 15, second 10, and third 5, just like we saw Andreas, Glock, and Casper do for the top 3 there. And the aim of those championships, even if people miss a few rounds early in the season, they can feasibly win a regional title and get themselves back in the overall championship. At the end of the final race of the season, we will have an overall champion and constructors champions, but those who win regional titles will also be credited. So Andreas is the Middle Eastern and Asia Pacific trophy winner from last time out, and by the end of 5 rounds we will crown our Formula Euro Open winner. So that's a little bit of information about those championships. And strategies in terms of Silverstone as we headed to the formation. That is very good timing, guys. And I didn't even look at the timing. So, let's look at the tyres. So, tyres. There we go. So, we got Yarham and Twisted and Glock on the mediums, Nick on the hards, Enzo on the mediums, Ewan on the mediums, Matta on the hards, Waitsy on the hards, Leroy on the hards, Casper on the mediums, so is Tech. Then we've got Gav, Shadow, Speed Knighton, and Tony on the hard compounded tyres. So, I would say the less popular strategy out of the 2 is medium to hard. Mediums ideally will last about 12 laps maximum, but optimal pace around about lap 8. Drivers may decide to come into the pit lane around about lap 12 anyway. Hard tyres will of course be slow towards the end of the race, but they will have a good start. So if you're near the front, I would recommend you start on those medium tyres. Hards, definitely the most popular strategy. More people are on them, even though we got an even split today. Hards will last an optimal of 14 laps before the drivers decide to pit in, and they will be quicker come the end of the race. The mediums do wear about 5% per lap though, so they've got to keep an eye on it. And in terms of obviously the fuel as well, that could come a big issue when they're on the softer tyre. So, if you're on that particular strategy, if you're on any strategy, there we go. So, last grid slot win was 2022. The last win was in P1. I think the same as this year as well. And I'm just trying to think, if Tony wants to win, no one has won from 15th place. The best they've got is points. So there we go. That is an interesting fact there. So Tony is looking to do the unthinkable, but he has done it before, so it is possible. By the way, Tier 2 is going on at the same time as well, so make sure you do check that out and support them. They've got low attenders as well, so give them some love. Watch them both at the same time. Anyway, we're about to go racing here at Virtual Sim Leagues, as the drivers are in at their grid slots. Well, hopefully they are anyway. Anyway, 5 red lights are on. Well, they're coming on soon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And it's a rubbish camera, but I don't care, because it's lights out, and away we go. And it's a decent start from the Williams driver as they head towards Abbey for the first time. Also decent start for the top three. Good start for Mentor as well as he's past Nick. And Ewan is also going to get past Nick through Village Corner. And now heading towards the loop section. Coming up now as well. Let's see if everyone else managed to make it through. A-OK, looks like it. Boy, the cleanest start I've seen around Silverstone in a long time. It's going to be 3 wide, by the way, heading towards the Wellington Straight. When will we see that? Not for a long shot, as Glot, by the way, gets past Twisted up into second place. So the top 3 running away with it. We got a yellow flag. That is Leroy that has lost it somewhere, but he is still in that train, so he must have had a little bit of a spin coming up there as well. Heading towards Copse Corner. This is going to be, I think, intense in terms of straight line speed, because you do need a medium downforce car to really get you through these Maggot and Beckett corners. We can see Tech is getting a bit squirmy through there as he's under pressure from Casper as well. So no DRS enables yet, but the battle for the lead is brewing. Glot to the inside, in towards Stowe Corner, and he gets the lead from Yarham, or maybe not, as Yarham tries to cover with the switchback to the inside. By the way, the camera is awful. Let's hope they change the camera. So let's go on the onboard shot. That's a lot better as we start lap 2 of 26. And it looked like for a second that there was 2 Hasses running alongside each other, but no, it's 1 Hass and 1 Alfa Romeo. Looks like Glock could challenge for the lead once again. Still making a bit of contact, but not by much. And we can see Ewan as well fighting for 5th place, but Enzo to the right-hand side through the Wellington. Nick could take advantage of that as well. He's right in the middle of this as well. But he's deciding to stay back because he doesn't want to take too many risks. Tech and Matter. Ooh, it's a bit wide through there. That was contact. That was contact. And Casper's trying to sneak past both of them and heading in towards Woodcote. And again, he doesn't want to be brave yet, but we've still got one big train forming. As I think Waity had a bit of a trouble earlier on. So he's down at the back. And unfortunately, my timings have gone into a little bit of a frenzy. So hopefully that fixes itself soon as well. And bearing in mind as well, there was a few things that were fixed in the patch, which hopefully will make the racing better, but not obvious changes to this track, however. By the way, I'm looking forward to racing around Singapore, but obviously VSL won't be racing around Singapore anytime soon. Now DRS will be activated quite shortly, so keep an eye out on that. The Speed Knighton gets past Gareth, or Gav gets past Speed Knighton, I think. And the camera cuts them off at the wrong place, but they're going to go side by side in towards the Hamilton Straight. And I think Pete's got him. Oh, that was tight. As Gav goes off the circuit as well because of that. But Gav is going to have the DRS heading towards the Wellington Straight. But we will keep an eye on the race lead as we head towards that Brooklands and Luffield corner. They weren't able to get past. Neither is our top 7. But Gav and Speed Knighton are able to prove us wrong. Speed Knighton almost going to the inside there as well. Definitely want to have give some fans a really good show. I don't know why my words are not right tonight. Probably because it has been a long day at work. And oh, that's very brave once again. That's going to be a similar move to what we saw earlier. So Gav up to 12th part before you get to Maggots and Beckett's. Nicely done from him. But I wonder if Pete wants DRS through here. So he's going to get it. He's going to use his ERS as well. Look at the straight line speed from Speed Knighton. So there he goes, up into 12th. So it's going to be a switcheroo battle, I think, for the next few laps. So watch out for him on that one. Next, we have got, I think we've got Yarham, who's under pressure from Glock, but the one who's more under pressure is Glock on Twisted. Twisted straight line speed, I have to say, is incredible. We'll see what it will happen in terms of the corners. Past Village, into the loop now, and then heading in towards Wellington Straight as I get a sip of my drink. As we've got Glot challenging for the lead once again, and this time he does it. We also got Tech and Shadow fighting it in the background. Nicely moved. I was going to say nicely done move from Tech 31 Racing. And Tech 31 Racing is up into P9 of this race on the mediums. And just looking at our overall race so far, the top 5, they're on the medium tyres, so pretty much majority of the mediums will be going well. Our leading hard runner is Nick, and he's in 6th place. But we could see a battle between himself and Casper brewing for many, many laps to come. As Vessier's joined a bit later than expected, Vessier. You were meant to join about, 40 minutes ago. And you didn't. So there we go, it's too late now. So anyway, Tech 31 racing past Shadow once more. So these mediums will go until around about lap 11 before they will have to box. Oh, Tech not getting the best of exits into the Hamilton straight. So that will allow Vapor Shadow to be like, you know what, I want to get that position back. I want to get in that top 10. In VSL, top 12 do score points. So Tech tries to defend from the outside. Vapor could try and get in from the inside, in and towards Wellington straight now. But I don't think he's going to do it. So he's just going to wait just for a little bit longer. And he's going to have more opportunities during this lap to get past. And all they're still going side by side once again through into Cobb's corner. And Tech covers him off. And it's starting to get quite hot in my room, but it's getting quite hot in terms of the action. Here comes Nick, who has been attacked by Casper, and Casper is up into 6th place. So we have got a Ferrari 5.6, a McLaren 5.6 currently on the track on those medium tyres. Tyre temperature at the moment around about 94 degrees on the McLaren's dash as well. Casper could get past Ewan in into the Wellington straight later on as well. Yarham looking feisty once more. Could be some DRS chicken coming into play as Tech does get our first 3-second time penalty, which is not ideal at all in this scenario. As Yarham goes into Brooklyn, still behind Glock. And what about this lap then? It is getting a bit darker, to be fair. So does that mean we could get some rain? Or will we see no rain at all? Because in the race I'm commentating on Monday, bearing in mind it was a different track, we were promised rain. We were promised rain in Imola. But guess what? We never got that rain. And I was very frustrated with myself because in a way, I prefer things that really have a surprise to it. Mainly because you won't be disappointed if there's no rain. Simple as. But I think it looks like it will just say dry. But if any of the engineers in the chat could possibly tell me otherwise, as I've just got the chat up on my other screen. So there we go. So I'm just looking at batteries now since I'm on my own. So it gives me a good chance to check some battery statuses. So Glock is on 63% of battery, and looks like Yarham could almost get him once again. They're on the same amount, so they can use each other's to defend. Tech 31 Racing has retired, and he's in the pit lane. I don't know why he retired in the pit lane. However, I think it is time. No one's using the overtake in the front. Pretty much the top 3 has hardly used any ERS at all. Enzo has used quite a lot. He's on around 40%. Casper is on 25. Ewan is on 52. Nick's on 57. So it's around about the 50-60% mark. Now, according to Colin in the chat, rain in 10 minutes. Ooh, very spicy. So we could get some rain. So I had a feeling it was going to happen because it was getting darker. That's why I wouldn't have asked that question. But anyway, Mata looks like he's managing his heart a lot better potentially. Or that come back to bite him later on, we'll see. It depends on how much he's pushing this lap. So Mata gets past up into 7th spot at the moment. No other major moves unless you're Speed Knight or Leroy. And Tony as well. Along with Gareth. So a lot of moves happening for the final points pay positions too. And we are starting to see people finding a little bit more of their rhythm as the race goes on. Pretty much majority of the race has been clean. But there's quite a few people that have made a mistake. But they've still got plenty of time to come back. So the ones on the mediums then, they think, oh, the rain's going to come imminently. The ones on the hards, they think that they're going to be on the more durable tyre and they think the rain's going to come a bit later. So Tech saying that he retired in the pits because he broke his wrist 2 weeks ago and it was too sore. Fair enough. It's understandable. Like if you can't race and if you're too sore to race, there's no point racing. So fair enough. Understandable. You tried your best to race as much as you can. So hopefully we will see Tech race next week with the F2 cars. So that's going to be exciting. Looking forward to that. Anyway, Yarham. 81% battery used up. Using his DRS, but again, he's not going to get past. He just wants to be safe. He doesn't want to use too much tyres at this early stage. And Yarham uses quite a bit of that apex just to follow Glock through. A lot of cheers for the Williams boys at the moment. Casper's found a bit of time this lap as well, hasn't he? But he's got the warning light, but I know him. He underfuels his car, but then he always makes sure that he gets to the end. Like, he has tactics, trust me. He has very good tactics. Wait, is it raining? It is raining! So it's raining a lot earlier than I thought it was going to be. Yarham gets past Glock. Or does he, to the inside? As the outside line becomes a favour line, it looks like. So Glock is leading. But for how much longer? Through side by side to Cops Corner. When was the last time we saw that? Yarham's now back in the lead. Incredible stuff. If you really want to make some moves, you've got to make the moves done and dusted right now. And this is what Yarham is trying to do. Now he's got no DRS. And he's going to hope that the DRS will become disabled. So the slipstream doesn't get used to its full effect as Glock gets past. Well, Glock stays ahead of Twisted, but he doesn't get past Yarham yet. It's getting slippier and slippier. So I wonder if we will see some brave souls come into the pits now. Maybe if the likes of Gareth waits your leave, or you could do it, but I wouldn't pass it because it's still a bit dry currently at the moment. As we can see, a battle between Casper and Enzo brewing. There's a lot of people in the grandstand that are getting some brollies going out now too. So they will know potentially what the weather is going to throw at the drivers. Battle for the lead once again. Oh, not quite from Glock. What about Casper this time to the inside? Nicely done from Casper, using the lower fuel that he's got in his car to full advantage. And don't forget, in the rain, you use less fuel. So that will be good news for Casper later on in this race. So he's up into 4th. Could chase down for a potential podium position. It is still plausible. As I just take another sip of my drink. There we go. As many possible outcomes can possibly happen with the weather. There might be people that might do a Lando Norris and may pit at the wrong time. And And we know what happened in Zandvoort. When the rain came, it really came. So I wonder if we're going to get something similar here as well with those tyres. Who will be the first to come onto the Inters? So it doesn't look like anyone's going to brave the call yet. I don't see anybody. Oh, we do see Tony go into the pits. But, however, he's been plagued by some bad news. He has got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So he's lost a lot of time through there, but he's going to brave it and go on the Inters now. So he's going to be the benchmark. We are going to keep an eye on his times, and I'm sure everybody that's racing is going to be keeping an eye on times as well. However, they do not want to wait until it's too late. They want to pit at the right time. It is a bit slippery through there. You can tell Johan is a bit more tentative on the throttle, but it's still not raining hard enough. But you never know, the next lap it could be very slippery. No, in this game. So, with some teammates that are near each other, they got to think, oh, will they compromise staying out, or will they go in at the same time? Because double stacking, I have to say, as I try and get my chair closer, as Glock gets past Johan, a bit more comfortable in these changeable conditions, it seemed. As Glock stays out, Johan is in. Twisted stays out. Casper stays out. Ewan stays out. Enzo stays out. Massa stays out. Nick stays out. Shadow stays out. So does Pete. Leroy. Ooh, Leroy thought about it. Waitsy is in. What about Gareth? He stays out as well. I am liking the split strategies from all the drivers today. What would you do if you were in the chat? But you might be engineering, so you don't want to give some things away. And it is a short race, Silverstone. So they do not have too long to think about their chosen strategies. So the gap between Johan and Speed Gareth, it's dropping a little bit, but then it comes back up again after a while. So I think Inters is not the right tyre yet, but however, maybe in a lap's time, it will be the tyre of choice for Johan. 9.1 now. So I think I could be wrong. Johan might be on the right tyre, or it might just be Johan is quicker in general, so it's hard to tell now. It's getting slippy through sector 2 currently. Glock decided that he's staying out. He's had some word from his teammate. Twisted comes in. Casper stays out. Ewan stays out. And if there were teammates that have come in, they would give insight to their drivers thinking, right, either come in or stay out. But if you don't have teammates, you can have no clue. And so I think the only plausible thing is most people have decided to stay out. Apart from Twisted, who's coming on to Inters. And he was battling with Johan. So, well, Twisted was in the top 3 anyway. So where is Twisted going to end up in relation to Johan? So there's Johan now. He's going to be comfortably ahead currently. As I said, currently. Quite a lot of times. I do apologise. But there we go. So I think the only question will be is where Glock will be very soon as well. So Glock has really got to pull away as much as he can. Mackett's and Beckett's is getting even more trickier. I wouldn't want to be in any of the driver's shoes currently. As they go a bit slower than intended to avoid slipping as well. And trying to make the most of those. No! So Tony has gone on to a set of the intermediate to the mediums. So he thinks that the Inters are not the best decision then. So does that mean it could dry up later? I don't know. Or did he put the wrong tyres on? That is going to come back to bite him if he goes on to the wrong tyre. Now, if he's regretted that decision, then I feel really, really sorry for him, but we will see. As you can start to see, Casper, I think, starting to use his ERS through Sector 2. Through the tricky bits, which I think is being very brave at the moment. It's getting slippy. It's getting very slippy. If I were you, potentially you would think about boxing in the next lap or two. Because it's hard to navigate, but it may not be at the right 0.4 inches, because you never know. DRS, the interesting thing about this game, yeah, DRS always gets enabled at the most weirdest of places. And I think Waitsy is struggling on those sets of the intermediate tasks. I think he was the one who spun just a moment ago, sadly. So yeah, for him, Inters came a lap too early for him. But for Glock, I think he's on the right tyre. He's staying out for another run. He thinks the rain's going to get lighter maybe. Casper is in. Newman stays out to pretty much sacrifice himself for his teammate. Mata stays out. Nick stays out as well. Speed Knighton stays out. I did see someone come in. That was, I think, Vapor Shadow. Yes, it was Vapor Shadow that came in. Leroy and Gareth. Both of those Alpine drivers do stay out. And Speed Knighton then chasing down the other two hard runners. Can he do it? Now, it depends on who is good on these changeable conditions when it's a crossover point. So, Casper has come out. He's in, well, was 9th. Now he's going to drop down to 10th. But he's having a battle with Yarham. Yarham's going to be on the much warmer tyre. It's the left-hand side. Casper goes through into the Wellington straight now and keeps his line. And, beautifully done, he stopped Yarham from getting the DRS. Yarham, unfortunately, gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So that's going to help him a little bit. Look at the grip that Casper's got on those Inters. The Inters are starting to really come more into... Oh, as I get my chair again. Bloody hell. Hang on. As the Inters are starting to come more into Casper's own at the moment. Seeing more drivers in. Glock is in the pits. Ewan is in. Nope, Ewan stays out. Sorry. Yellow flag. What was that yellow flag? Or is it just someone coming in? It might just be someone coming in, actually. Yeah, it is someone coming in. Gamers panic me then. It's damp. It's damp. It's damp final corner. It is really starting to get damp in the final corner. If you haven't gone in, you're screwed. Gareth has stayed out. Glock, I think, has timed it perfectly. And he's going to come out in the race lead over Casper. Yes, he is. But Casper timing that overcut perfectly on the other drivers. And he's going to fight for the win here for Glock. It's going to be exciting. No! Yarham, Twisted, what are you doing? They've gone for softs. What is going on? What is going on? So is it... I don't get it. Is it meant to dry... This is the thing. I kind of like surprises. I thought it was going to rain until the end of the race. I didn't think it could dry up this quickly. It's just... They're just slipping around. They're going to lose that much time. And there's some people staying out, meaning that it could dry up. But they're going to lose a lot of time to the Inters anyway. What would you do? To be honest, if I was a driver racing in this situation, I would have no clue what I would do. I would ask the people in my party to respond to that. Top 3 is in. Nick's in as well. Leroy is going to come in very, very shortly, I think. Will Gareth follow him in? Well, he's got to. He stays out. He's going to lose so much time by staying out, but maybe he knows something that we don't. Wait, so Ewan is on softs? Wait, Ewan has gone on to soft tyres on a damp track. That I'm a bit amused. Nick's gone on mediums. I just don't know what the right tyre is at the moment. I just don't know. Because personally, I think it's wet enough for dries. But people may think, no, it's... No. I think it's wet enough for inches, sorry. But people may think, no, it's dries. But it doesn't look like it's dry to me because there's a lot of raindrops on the circuit. Let's just hope they put the right tyre on, because otherwise that would cause some issues. So, Speed Knighton on the set of inters now. Waity is now back onto some dry tyres, but at least he's gone onto the dry tyres. No DRS disable sign either, as well. I think if I was the strategist, to be honest, I would be very nervous. You were not sure. You won't be sure on how they get that right. And Gav's got a little bit more speed on Glock, so maybe the dries are the right side to be on for now in certain parts of the track. So some of them are holding on to those hards. But then, this is when the inter starts coming to play. Here comes Casper in towards Stowe Corner. Can he make the move stick around the outside? Yes, he can. So Gav comes in. So the last one to do his mandatory pit stop. I'm still a bit amused as to why the likes of Ewan, Twisted and Yarham, they're on soft tyres, but, you know, I'm not the strategist like I was saying. There could be, obviously, some method into the madness. So I think Gav's going to go onto a set of dries. Nope, he's going on to inters like I thought he would. So no one knows what tyres to be on. It's going to shake up the race. I'm all for it. I know you guys are all for it in the chat. And if you're watching this in the comments, don't cheat. All we need to do is just pause the video and let me know who's going to win. And then, if you guess it right, then bravo. If you don't, then I don't know how you're going to get it right anyway. So, there we go. But anyway, lap 18 of 26. Lots still to happen at VSL F1. Glock is leading the way on a very damp Silverstone. 1.2 seconds clear of Casper. Casper not gaining that much DRS at the moment. Ewan in third, but he's dropping like flies. Tony has got another 3-second penalty, so him starting last on the grid. Probably not the best of situations. Ewan still keeping on to third place at the moment. So that's always a good sign. So if the track dries up, Ewan is in a good spot. But Matato is on the back of Enzo, heading towards Abbey then, on lap 19 of 26. Looking at the ERS usage in the wet, because I did promise that I would get some ERS usage in the wet for you. So 43% is what Mata is using at the moment, and so is Enzo. Now Enzo's on 33%. Matt has got 10% more. So Matt's going to burn it. And there we go. Just with using that ERS deployment, that really helped to get past. So Mata is up into 4th place. And to be honest, he can sense a podium coming his way. And he's not going to give up until he gets it. 5 seconds is the gap. And his next runner is the one on the soft. But he's not getting that much time than I would expect, even though the track is quite damp. So the track may be playing stuff in mysterious ways, which is quite interesting. But I'm in a most confused state. It is unreal. So Ewan gets past Casper then, up into 2nd. Now he's on softs. So which tyre is faster then? Is it the softs or the inters? These are things that we do not know. I know I keep asking these questions a lot of the time, but it's something that I would like to know and eager to know. Now, the race I remember that had a very good race in the wet, it was 2008. It was not just wet, it was very wet. And no Brit has won at Silverstone since David Coulthard in 2000. Lewis Hamilton drove sensationally in the rain. Felipe Massa pirouetted more times than an ice skater. And then Hamilton kept going and won by more than a minute and lapped everybody up to 4th. So there we go. I don't think we're going to see that extreme at the moment, but Ewan has caught up quite massively. Has it stopped raining by any chance? No, it hasn't stopped raining. So, softs are about 5/10 quicker than the inters. But the track's damp. I don't get it. So the track's damp. You've got to pretty much be an ice skater to... You pretty much want to be skating on ice if you want to do well on the softs here. I've never experienced anything like it. I think there was one race where I commentated, I think it was around Hungary, it was on either F1 2019 or F1 2020, when it was raining like this, it was damp, but they started on dries, and dries were okay the full race. So let's just hope that I'm not having a different weather system to what everyone else is seeing. I don't think so, obviously, because otherwise they would be saying it in the chat. And good point from Sylvian, actually. Softs are about 5/10 quicker because the softs are overheating. And the softs do tend to overheat a lot around this track compared to any other tyre around this track. So, and it does come down to finding the right tyre pressures, and you can't. I think you can adjust your tyre pressures in Parc Ferme. Vapor Shadow, by the way, has spun. So those inters, yeah, they're definitely overheating. So I wonder if they should have put like lower tyre pressures on there, but I don't know. Again, I'm not the strategist. So, if it is going to stay like this, Ewan could be on course to be winning this race for the first time in Silverstone. He has won before, I believe, at VSL, so it won't be his first ever win. But I'll need to double check with the stats man in order to do that. The gap's increased a little bit now to 1.3 seconds, so Glock can see Ewan behind him, and he's like, right, I've got to push, and I want to win this one, because he wants to get his championship, the Formula Euro Open, off to a good start. Because Mercedes, wow, they won the Middle Eastern and Asia Pacific trophy for the regional championship, but they don't get any extra points for that. The only one that gets extra points are the top 3 in the drivers. That is Andreas Glock and Casper, which did that recently as well. So, I'm just trying to see what's Ewan's best result. So, round number 3, he got 10 points, which is not a lot. But bearing in mind, round number 3 was a sprint race. And there were races where he did struggle this season. Oh, Shadow's out the race. Shadow's out the race. And, oh my God, we have got a safety car. So, let's go on board with someone and... Oh, his car has just disappeared. I was trying to go on board with someone to see whether... how he crashed out. But it must have been near the pit lane or, you know, near the pit wall or something like that. Or maybe final corner. I've seen people do that before. So... people now get a second chance to look and see on whether the soft tyres or the inters or the mediums are the right tyre to go. Bearing in mind, the soft tyres will last a bit longer in those intermediate conditions, so they're not going to be overheating. So Glock stays out then, so does Ewan. The top 3 are committing. Mata is committing as well. Pretty much everyone has got to commit at this point, because otherwise they're going to lose so much track position. Because everyone's going to be on different tyres. Nick comes in. So he's the first one to come in then. And he's on the dry tyres. So will he be thinking, right, I've got to go on inters now? Or will he go on to a set of softs? I think if he wants to keep to that dry tyre mantra, he's going to go on soft tyres and go on fresh softs. Oh, Yarham was thinking about it. Leroy's got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So, let's see what tyre Nick goes on. He's going to go on softs, surely. Yes, he's going to go on softs. Now, what happened to Yarham? Well, he was struggling on those softs, but he's going to gain quite a few places because of it. So, if I were on dries, I would go on softs now. So, I think Waitsy is going to go on to softs as well. Most people should have some fresh set of softs there because they didn't use it at the start of the race because everybody was either on mediums or softs. Mediums or hard, sorry, throughout that. Unless they use it for the middle half of the race thinking it was going to rain down hard. So, the ones that have benefited are the ones that have saved some soft tyres. So here comes Waitsy. And there's his fresh set of rubber on the softs. Tony is probably going to do the same thing, I think, unless he wants... Oh, no, he can't. Tony's a lap down. Tony's a lap down. So, Tony's last 2 challenge, unfortunately, is not going to work out unless people in the front could be very kind and let Tony through and he can try and get his lap back. That'll be good. And Sylvian saying in the chat, inters are now quicker, but apparently it's supposed to dry out. Ooh, so will it dry out in time? I don't know. So maybe the inters could be the right tyres to be on right now. So maybe the soft tyres are a reliability. A liability. I almost said reliability there, but a liability. So, what's going on in Tier 2 at the moment? It's nice and sunny in Tier 2. And they're on the same amount of laps. I wonder if they had some safety cars as well. And if you are liking the action, make sure that you leave us a like and hit subscribe and hit that bell if you are new. And I do believe that the safety car will be in for another lap. At least we actually get to see the safety car like sign, because I remember I commentated on the race on Saturday. That'll be interesting. And Colin thinks that softs will warm up fast at restart. So, will it dry up in time? Will it not? And this is going to be a race that you do not want to miss. Well, I don't know which strategy is the best. When I prepared a lot for this race, I usually do, and I've written down the possible strategies. The strategies without rain is meant to be start on mediums, stay on them for 12 laps, pit on to hards. Or start on hards, stay on them for 14 laps, and then go on to mediums for 12 laps. That was what I've written on the notes, and I've written the optimum pace as well. And the optimum pace on the softs can last 8 laps. But in these damn conditions, it may last a bit more, optimally. So, the safety car has to come in this lap, surely. Even though Waitsy is not caught up yet, the safety car has got to come in, which it does. So that's always a good thing. So Glock is going to be the de facto Burt Mylander. I'm surprised we only had one safety car. Please, this time, I really do hope that this safety car restart is clean, because otherwise I'm going to have some nightmares. As got the number 95 car, wants to do the Mercedes team proud, wants to get his Formula Euro Open Championship off to a great start. So here we go then. We're about to start the penultimate lap. No DRS activated, by the way. As, by the way, Glock pulls away quite nicely. Those inters are starting to get a lot better. But you can see Ewan pulling away from Casper. How's Yarham doing? Yarham's on 9 lap old on soft, so that's going to be even more tricky. And you can start to see the ones on the softs being a liability, but the ones on the inters trying to get past as quickly as they possibly can. So Enzo gets past Ewan up to 4th, so the ones on the softs are dropping. Twisted, I believe, has got past Nick, or is Nick going to get past Twisted? No, he's got past Nick, and I think Leroy's going to get past Nick as well. So yes, the ones who stayed out on the soft tyres, probably not the best decision, but I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have known because I wouldn't have known when the rain was going to dry out. So they're going to lose out so much time to everybody else. So the top 7 are your intermediate runners, apart from Pete, who's down in 10th. So Pete is struggling to get past those intermediate runners, those soft runners at the moment. So he needs to get past Ewan next. Otherwise, he's in a bit of trouble. So heading in towards Chapel then, for the penultimate time, he's going to use his overtake. Bearing in mind, he has saved quite a bit of overtake for this moment. And they've also saved a bit of fuel as well. As Twisted gets past Gareth up into 5th spot. And Orbit squirming there on next as they head towards Club Corner for the penultimate time. Gareth almost had it through there. Tony's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and one of that's going to be retirement. Yes, it is. So, anyone that finishes will be scoring points here today. And on the final lap, as the 2 Alpines are fighting each other. And don't forget, we got Casper that's got a penalty. I need to check what the penalty that he's got. He's got 3 seconds. Okay. So he's got 3 seconds. Casper, he's got plenty of ERS. Glock has got loads as well. So they're pretty much even Stevens. The red flashing light means they're in the wet. But in the dry, the red flashing light means that they're running out of ERS. Squirmy for Casper. He almost had the chance to get past Glock, but to no avail. Gaz got past his teammate, having a nice fight with them. Still side by side in towards Woodcote. Keeping the inside line. Through Cops. Is Leroy going to prove that he could overtake a Cops corner? Yes, he does. And he's still going to go side by side once more as Gareth tries to fight back into Maggots and Beckett. Casper has caught up to Glock now. So we'll see if he can get past Glock heading in towards Stowe Corner. We're almost at the end of this race. And even though there was some quieter bits, this part of the race has been electric. A much cleaner safety car restart than I've seen. Enzo fighting with Twisted now to the inside. As Enzo covers him off. But Glock comes across the line as Big Boy Ewan has binned it. But Glock wins. Matter in second. Twisted third. I forgot about some of these penalties actually. Enzo in 4th. Casper 5th. Gareth 6th. Leroy 7th. Speed 9 in 8th. Waity 9th. And Nick will be in 10th. And they both spin across the line. And so the overall outcome was that the ones on the sauce were a liability and it costed them their race. But great moves from the Alpine drivers at the end there. I'm definitely going to clip that because it was incredible. Some fair racing. I did watch back the Bahrain race and I was a bit disappointed because of the driving standards. However, the driving standards were a lot better today and they can have their heads held high. So massive congratulations. As we head to the next stages coming up very, very soon. So, Glock lifts up the trophy. Well deserved from him. He was pretty much leading the entire race and was fighting with a lot of people. Matter has come from quite low down in this championship. But now, he's going to finish in 7th spot. Actually, no, he wasn't low down in this championship. He was 7th anyway. So he's started 7th, finished 2nd. So how's that going to climb up in terms of position? We'll have to wait and see. So, Casper gets 2 extra points because he's got the fastest lap. But anyway, Glot wins from Matter in second, Twisted third, Enzo fourth, Casper fifth, Gav sixth, Leroy seventh, Speed Knight in eighth. We got Waitsy in ninth and 10th. And we got Johan and Ewan in 11th and 12th. Tony retired, and so did Vapor, Shadow, and Tep31 Racing. So we've only had 3 retirements, which was a lot better than previous races. Ideally, I would have liked to have seen no retirements at all, but it is what it is, and that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. So, my drive of the day, gotta be Glot for keeping his car on the road and holding on to the race when it had a really good restart. Matter as well. Gareth and Leroy with that really great fight. There were just a lot of great drivers that did really well today and benefited from their strategies. But there were certain drivers that took risks to stay on the soft, thinking it was going to dry out quickly. However, unfortunately, it just did not work. So, thank you guys so much for watching this amazing race. And we got a special event, round number 7 in Monza. We will be going in the F2 cars for the very first time in VSL in quite a while. It's going to be a fun event, so make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you rewatch this stream and also tier 2 as well. So if you like this content, make sure you give us a like, hit that subscribe button, and also hit that notification bell if you are new. Follow us on Twitter at VSL_F1. Same as Instagram, VSL_F1. Also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm at JessGames95. I want to plug my socials on there, surely. But for myself, Jessica Ball, have a good evening, and we will see you next week for the Italian Grand Prix with the F2 cars. See you very soon, and goodbye.